Alright, y'all, check this out. BCM Raider here, bringing you another Commander deck tech. Today we're looking at Brudiclad, Telchor Engineer, and he's going to give all of our tokens haste. And every single combat, we're going to get a 2/1 Phyrexian Mirror Artifact Creature token. And then, if we have a very large board, we're going to choose one of these very powerful tokens that we created, and every single token will become that exact copy. So we're going to be doing many things where we're going to be creating many different tokens and copying a whole bunch of creatures. So let's get right into it. First up are the creatures. Third Path Iconoclast, whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we're going to get a 1/1 colorless soldier artifact creature. Similar to that, we have Chrome Host Sea Shark. This will create what's called a incubator token. It's a non-creature artifact token with a activated ability where once we activate it, it'll become a creature and have that many counters put on it equal to that spell's mana value. Now we have Stormkiln the Artist. With this, we're going to be creating a lot of treasure tokens. But with Stormkiln the Artist, his power will get +1 for each artifact we control, which is going to be a lot. And whenever we cast or copy a instant or sorcery, we're going to create another treasure token. Similar to that, we have Professional Facebreaker. This creature is hard to block, and whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage, we're going to create a treasure token. Whenever we sacrifice a treasure, we can exile the top card and play that card this turn. Now we have Dika, Fractal Theorist. This has Magecraft as well. Whenever we cast or copy a instant or sorcery, we're going to create a green and blue fractal token that's going to enter with however many +1 counters that spell's mana value was. But we can pay for, and any token can't be blocked this turn. Now we have Sharding Sphinx. Because majority of the creatures that we're creating are artifacts, whenever those artifact creatures deal combat damage, we're going to create that many 1/1 flying Thopter tokens. Now we have Reapworm. This is going to scale whenever that token goes to the graveyard and get progressively bigger. It'll start with a 3/3, then a 6/6, then a 9/9. And if we're at the point where we've created many tokens, we can have all those tokens become 9/9s when we cast Brudiclad. Now we have a very powerful one with Urza, Lord High Artificer. Just when Urza enters the battlefield, it'll create construct tokens, which will scale off the number of artifacts we control, but every single artifact will have the ability to tap and add 1 blue mana. Now we have Phyrexian Metamorph. This will be a artifact when it enters, and it'll become a exact copy of any artifact or creature. Now we have Ethereum Sculptor. This is going to help us with reducing the cost of artifact spells. Now we have Solemn Simulacrum, or the Sad Robot. He's going to enter, he's going to search for a basic land and put it on the battlefield tapped, and when Solemn goes to the graveyard, we get to draw a card. So we have Curiosity Crafter. He's going to help us by giving us no maximum hand size, and whenever any token creature deals combat damage, we get to draw a card. Now we have Crime Nihilist. This is going to scale whenever we sacrifice a treasure token, and it's going to provide us a red mana every single time we sacrifice it. Now we have Saheeli, the Sun's Brilliance. This is going to create a token copy of any creature or artifact we control, and it'll gain haste until the end of turn. And because we're producing a lot of treasure tokens, We have Gold Span Dragon. Not only will this create more treasure tokens for us, but those treasure tokens are going to tap and produce twice the amount of mana. Okay, now we have Cyberdrive Awakener. If we've created a very large amount of treasure tokens or artifact tokens, every single artifact that's not a creature will become a 4/4 until the end of turn, and they'll have flying. Now we have 3 very large creatures that we're going to want to make multiple copies of. So we have Wormcoil Engine, Bane of Balaged. This is going to be very scary if we can create multiple copies of this card. And of course, we have Myr Battlesphere, also known as Battle Ball. Just when Myr Battlesphere enters the battlefield, it's going to bring 4 1/1 colorless Myr tokens. And whenever Myr Battlesphere attacks, we can tap any number of untapped Myr creature, and Myr Battlesphere will get +X/+O and deal X damage to that defending player. That's going to be very, very bad for our opponents and very good for us. We are running 2 Planeswalkers. We have Saheeli, Sublime Artificer. Similar to Third Path Iconoclast, it has the static effect whenever we cast a non-creature spell. We're going to create a 1/1 servo, but we can minus Saheeli, and a artifact will become another copy of another target artifact or creature, and that will become a artifact in addition to its other types. And of course, we have Karn the Great Creator, because we're going to want to control the artifacts in this game. So Karn the Great Creator will turn off our opponent's ability to use their artifacts, and we can plus Karn. Another non-creature artifact will become a artifact creature, where its power and toughness will be equal to that target's mana cost. Or if our opponents dealt with our artifacts by exiling them, we can -2 Karn and get that artifact card back into our hand. Let's get into the artifacts. Of course, we have Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Elixir of Immortality. This is going to protect our graveyard, and it's going to gain us 5 life. Now we have Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp is going to draw us many cards because we're going to be creating a whole bunch of 1/1 creatures. So now we have Expedition Map. That way we can go get whatever utility land we need. Now we have Swiftfoot Boots. That way we can protect whatever creature needs protecting. Now we have Idol of Oblivion. This is going to draw a card for us, but more importantly, if we produce enough mana, we can create very large Eldrazi creature tokens. Now we have Cursed Totem. Because the only creature in our entire deck that has a activated ability is Saheeli, Sun's Brilliance. We're not going to care too much about that. This is pretty much just going to deal with our opponent's creatures to slow them down. Now we have Midnight Clock. Midnight Clock, I feel, is severely underplayed in Commander. It's a mana rock. More importantly, it's a one-sided wheel effect. It does exile itself once the 12th counter is put on this, but we can keep getting this back with Karn the Great Creator. Now we have Inspiring Statuary. This is a very, very synergistic card with what we're doing, because we are creating many artifact tokens. We're going to use those tokens to help us cast everything else in our entire deck. Now we have Primal Amulet. This is a very powerful cost reduction artifact, and when we have enough charge counters put on this, it'll transform. It'll transform into a very powerful land. It'll produce any color, and when we use that mana to cast a instant or sorcery, it's going to copy that spell. Now we have Mimic Bat. We're going to create token copies of those creatures that went to the graveyard. That way we can make multiple copies of very powerful creatures that we dealt with. Now we have Tamio's Journal. Every single upkeep, we're going to investigate or create a clue artifact token where we can pay to sacrifice that token and to draw a card. But if we produce at least 3 clues, we can basically demonic tutor. Now we have Mirror Box, because majority of the creatures we want to make multiple copies of are legendary. Mirror Box will remove the legend rule, so we can have multiple copies of these very powerful legendary creatures. Now we have Helm of the Host. This is pretty much only here just to continually make more token copies of whatever creature we want. Now we have Horde Hauler. This is a vehicle that's going to create a large amount of treasure tokens for us whenever the Horde Hauler deals combat damage. Okay, let's get into the enchantments. Now we have Vesuvan Duplimancy. Whenever we cast a spell that targets any artifact or creature, we're going to create a token copy of that creature. Now we have Storm the Vault. This has a static effect. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage, we're going to create a treasure token. And then if we control 5 or more artifacts, we get to transform this. And it'll transform into a very powerful land. It's probably the most iconic land in Magic the Gathering's history. This will become a Telchor Academy. We're going to add a blue mana for each artifact we control. Now we have Mechanized Production. This is basically a win condition on its own. All we have to do is enchant any artifact we want, possibly a treasure token, and we're going to create a token copy of the enchanted artifact. And then if we control 8 or more artifacts with the same name, we win the game on the spot. Now we have There and Back Again. This is a very fun enchantment saga. Chapter 1, up to 1 target creature can't block this turn, and the ring will tempt us. Now we have Shark Typhoon. This is going to benefit us by creating very large flying shark tokens whenever we cast a non-creature spell. Now we have Storm of Saruman. This enchantment has Ward 3, so if our opponents want to target this enchantment, they have to pay a additional 3 colorless, but whenever we cast our second spell each turn, we get to copy that spell. That copy isn't legendary. Okay, let's get into the instance. Now we have Big Score. This is going to allow us to draw 2 cards and create 2 treasure tokens. Now we have Cackling Counterpart. This will create a token copy of whatever creature we want, and the spell has flashback, so we can cast it from our graveyard a additional time. Now we have Theoretical Duplication. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under our turn, we're going to create a token copy of that creature. Now we have C double. Unfortunately, we can't copy C double itself, but when we do, we're going to choose, if a opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard, we can choose both of these abilities. We're going to either copy a target spell, or we're going to create a token copy of a creature. Now we have Mystic Reflection. This can only target a non-legendary creature, but the next time one or more creatures or planeswalkers enter the battlefield, we're going to create another copy of that chosen creature. This also has Foretell and exile Mystic Reflection, and then cast this at a later time. Now we have Chaos Warp. These are going to be kind of our counterspell / removal spells. So Chaos Warp, we can deal with our opponent's stuff, or we can target one of our own permanents to hopefully gamble for a better one. So now we have Arcane Denial, Counterspell, and Muddle the Mixture. I really like Muddle the Mixture because we can transmute this and go get whatever card with mana cost 2. Now we have Pongify. This will deal with our opponent's stuff, but we can also target any of our creatures and create a 3/3 token if we really need it. Similar to that, we have Rapid Hybridization. Instead of being a ape token, it'll be a green frog lizard token. And of course, we have Cyclonic Rift. Okay, let's get into the sorceries. Now we have Rite of Replication. This is a very iconic copy spell. If we have enough mana, we can do the kicker cost, which will put 5 tokens onto the battlefield. But another fun interaction, if we cast Rite of Replication with its kicker cost, and we copy Rite of Replication, it will copy as the already kicked ability. So we're going to put many creature copy tokens on the battlefield all at once. Now we have Quasi-Duplicate. This is just another clone effect, but it has Jumpstart. It's kind of like Flashback, but we can cast this from our graveyard by discarding a card in addition to its other costs. Now we have Quantum Misalignment. Similar to Rite of Replication, instead of having Kicker, this has Rebound. So once we cast this, we're going to exile this, and then the next turn, we're going to recast Quantum Misalignment. Now we have Neogene Conversion. This is going to be very powerful because we can choose any creature we want, such as, Bane of Balagad. Then every single creature will become a exact copy of that targeted creature. Now we have Mirage Mockery. This will create a token copy of a artifact creature we control, or we can create a token copy of a non-artifact creature we control. Or we pay 6 mana and we can do both. Now we have Irenicus's Vile Duplication. This will create a token copy of another creature we control, except it'll have flying and won't be legendary. Now we have Seize the Spotlight. This is a very commandery card, so you have the option of choosing Fame or Fortune. So for each player who chose Fame, we're going to gain control of a creature that player controls. It'll gain haste. And for each player who chose Fortune, we get to draw a card and create a treasure token. Now we have River's Rebuke. This is similar to Cyclonic Rift. So if we want to kill off a opponent very quickly, we can do that. Let's get into the land base. We have Command Tower, Scalding Tarn. We have our Steam Vents, our Thundering Falls, Training Center, Spider Bluff Canal, Sulphur Falls, Cascade Bluffs, Riverglide Pathway. This will give us the option if we need blue mana, or if we need red, we'll just play the other side. Now we have Shivan Reef, the Frostboil Snarl. Now we have some colorless lands. We have Urza's Saga. This is very powerful. This will tap for a colorless mana in Chapter 1, and then it'll create a construct token, which very early in the game will give us a very nice setup. And then Chapter 3, we're going to go get whatever artifact we want with mana cost 1 or 0. We can use Urza's Saga's last chapter to go get Expedition Map, to go get Thespian Stage, or Dark Depths. Because Dark Depths will create the largest, most iconic token in Magic the Gathering's history. Because a 2020 Merit Lage is probably good enough to end games very quickly. Now we have Mirrex. Mirrex is going to create 1/1 Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with Toxic 1. And if we create a very large board of these toxic creatures, we can kill our opponents basically in one shot. Now we have Fountain Port. This is a very modal land, which will benefit us because we can sacrifice a token to draw a card. We can create a 1/1 blue fish token, or we can create treasure tokens. And to stay on the treasure theme, we have Treasure Vault. We can sacrifice Treasure Vault and create that many treasure tokens. Now we have 8 islands and 10 mountains. And that was the Commander deck tech for Brudiclad, Telchor Engineer. I really hope you guys enjoyed this deck tech. If you guys have any suggestions for the land base or some other card you feel should be in the deck, let me know in the comments below. I'll provide the deck list with the link to Moxfield in the comments below. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, share these videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.